First of all, thank you for choosing to watch this educational video. If you enjoy smiling rather than sneering at life, seeing serious points within an interesting story rather than a boring sermon, and if you can find it in your heart to laugh at your own and others' failings, then this particular story is for you. In this story, we explore the communication responsibilities of the modern salon owner. But to make it interesting, we have buried the key points in a tale entitled The Salon Owner's Lament. Once upon a time, a salon owner went completely round the bend. And though he spent time on the funny farm, he came out improved in the end. The problem started when he first thought of the sales he wasn't getting. And the more he thought of what was wrong, the more he sat there fretting. "Why is this happening?" he cried. "Who is to blame? And when will things get better?" Then he realized in a flash the clients were at fault. So he sent them all this letter. Dear clients, having gone to the trouble of opening the salon, eventually finding staff to turn up occasionally, buying enough product to last years, putting up with a distrusting bank manager and a permanently worried wife, I'm really beginning to wonder if it wasn't just all one big mistake. You see, most of you clients only ask for a trim when you visit my salon, but surely it must be obvious that you need a treatment, straightening or colour, or all of those things to look and feel better. And why do you persist in still buying your shampoos and conditioners elsewhere? I've got more than enough products to go around, I assure you. And doesn't everyone know that salon brands are easily the best? So come on, clients. I'm sure you realise that I do ask my staff to talk to you about treatments, foils and colours, but the problem is that most of them haven't got the confidence to lead in silent prayer. They like doing their own thing, and unfortunately, most of all, they're more interested in the finishing of their day than the finishing of your hairstyles. So it's all up to you. If you're going to look your best and I'm going to make a success of this business, you are going to have to be more fashion and hair conscious and make time to ask my staff about Brazilian keratin treatments, colours, highlights and foils, and of course home hair care products. I'm sure they'll probably talk back to you if you speak first. And one last thing, why don't you come to the salon more often? I mean, surely your hair is important enough to justify a visit to our salon at least every 4 to 6 weeks. Yours expectantly, your friendly salon owner. So the letter was written, sealed and delivered, and the owner sat back to wait, as he expected the clients to wake up to themselves, to improve his business fate. And indeed the clients did respond, but not quite as expected, as can be seen when the letter they wrote to him is considered and inspected.
Dear salon owner, since we received your letter, we have been racking our brains to come up with some constructive advice, rather than to simply tell you what you can do with your idle straightening irons and tint brushes. First of all, we the clients have more than enough to worry about, making ends meet, getting our work done on time each day, and thinking about all manner of things apart from our hair, without doing your job for you as well. Understood? Now, you say we should be more fashion and hair conscious and ask your staff about Brazilian straightening colours and products, rather than just having a trim. Are we to take it that we are also expected to be more washing powder, stockings, shoes, makeup, bedding, food, and every other thing conscious too? Well, here's lesson number 1 for you. You should be thankful we even turn up to your salon. And by the way, if having foils and highlights or a colour is so wonderful for us, how come some of your staff get through each day without having those things? I can assure you, when we see with our eyes why we should have highlights or colours, we will usually have them done. In the meantime, since no one suggests these things, a trim will do just fine, thank you. And last but not least, regarding your point about how often we visit your salon, the reason that you need more bums on seats is because the clients in your seats are being treated like bums. Think about that. We hope you can motivate your staff to do a better job in future. Yours sincerely, the clients. P.S. Our last question. Since we had to wait more than half an hour sometimes just to have a trim, how long do we have to wait for a Brazilian keratin treatment?
The owner was stunned by the client's reply and sat alone for a while to think. And he asked himself over and over, what makes them think we stink? Then he began realizing slowly but surely that it is not only the clients at fault, So he began to look elsewhere for the cause and saw the truth with a jolt. It's the staff, of course. They're the ones causing the problems. They don't care if I sink or swim. They're always miserable, moaning and threatening, and always looking grim. So with feelings high and spirits low, he gave vent to grudges stored, and then penned this memo to all Salon staff, which he pinned to the notice board. Memo to all staff. I've enclosed in everyone's pay packet this week copies of my recent letter to clients and the letter I received in return from the clients. It is now obvious to me that you don't care for our clients or show any interest in their needs, not to mention what you think of me. Well, there's going to be some big changes around here, I promise you. From now on, all staff will show an interest and care in their clients and treat them properly prior to upselling them into having Brazilian keratin treatments, colours, treatments and retail products. I've got a lot of money tied up in this salon. I'm under tremendous pressure from my bank manager, and my poor wife has had to go overseas again for another rest due to all the worry. And I am not going to take the easy way out by selling the block of home units on the coast or either of the Mercedes cars. So I expect an improvement in attitude all round. The work rate will have to go up, and of course sales must rise immediately. I'm sure we can do it. Let's go. Your boss. One by one, the staff read the memo, and the owner smiled to himself as he thought. They now know that I know and can't escape the truth. They've been well and truly caught. Feeling better already, he began to imagine how the future would improve and grow bright. And of course it would start with the staff saying sorry, as the team slowly saw the light. They should admit their weaknesses, smile and work hard, and sales would quickly be raised. And then he saw the business grow into an empire, as the industry observed and praised. But before the dream could continue and soar to a greater height, a stylist approaching with a note in his hand came slowly into sight. He tried hard to be gracious as he accepted the note and smugly said, "Thank you, my dear." But not until later, as he read these words, did the true feelings of the staff become clear.
Dear boss, after we all read the memo on the notice board, we became so motivated it's not funny, and in fact it's not funny. And what's all this about "I'm sure we can do it" and the slogan "Let's go"? These phrases almost sound like you are with us in the battle to sell highlights, foils, Brazilian keratin treatments and colours, and of course take-home haircare. Well, if you are with us, why not help us to do our job better and set an example of what you expect? For instance, why don't you make this place look and feel like a treatment and colouring salon, with posters and messages informing the clients of the benefits and prices of these services, instead of relying on us to do all the communication. We're like actors and actresses without scenery, and there is no atmosphere to back us up. And it's all right to say we don't do enough straightening and colours, but how many is enough? Why not talk with us about what you want and expect in sales? And when we work harder and sales increase, more do we get? Or does wanting to earn more make us greedy? We also need some training on how to talk positively with clients, on how to ask questions in a nice way and suggest things without sounding pushy. And why don't you do something exciting in the salon to promote Brazilian straightening and colouring so that clients will want to ask us about it? Something like a special offer, a styling menu, a competition, a gift offer, anything to give us an opportunity and a good reason just to discuss highlights, foils and colouring with the clients. And one last thing, may we respectfully remind you that we are the followers and you are the leader. And therefore, if we are getting nowhere, then whose fault is that? So we are with you all the way, wherever that may lead. Signed, the staff.
Drained, beaten, confused, and exhausted, the owner sank deep in his chair. He read the notes through again and again, but this only increased his despair. "Why me?" he cried. "It's simply not fair. I am surely more deserving. There's only so much one man can take of what my clients and staff are serving." Then his eyes began to narrow and his face contorted as he thought of the hand he had been dealt. Other salons don't have problems like this, he thought. And then what he thought he felt. And as his feelings deepened and as his personal sorrow grew, he saw a different future looming, and he didn't like the view. He saw the salon business getting worse and worse and the clients becoming fewer and fewer, and instead of enjoying life secure in a penthouse, he saw something closer to the sewer. He felt cheated and lonely and was sinking fast and was convinced of a terrible end, and indeed he was close to crumbling when he remembered a long-lost friend. "My psychiatrist will help me," he said under his breath. "He'll know what's best, I'm sure." So again, with pen on paper, the feelings from his heart did pour. "Dear psychiatrist, I enclose copies of letters to and from my clients and staff. You obviously immediately see what my problem is. I've got the wrong kind of clients and staff. Stands out a mile, doesn't it? God knows I tried, but it's really hopeless, or rather they are hopeless. I mean, I heard recently that the industry is enjoying a colour boom, but you won't find one in my salon. In fact, my clients and staff must think it's a rumour. Take the clients, they're the worst you could find. For instance, I was feeling creative recently, so I asked one client if she would like a Zepke. She said, "No thanks, I'll just have the usual coffee and biscuits, please." Pathetic. And staff are worse. Ever since most of them came to work here, they haven't. I asked one starlet not to whistle while she worked. She replied, "Who's working?" And one client asked one of the girls what was the difference between $155 highlights and the $185 highlights. The girl said, "About $30. I really can't take it anymore. I'm turning to you because you are a successful doctor. Let's face it, any psychiatrist who's had his couch reupholstered 3 times and has upper and lower berths must be running a good practice. And I can still remember how you helped me with the first big problem I had when I was terribly afraid of answering the phone. After the treatment you gave me, I answer the phone easily now, even when it's not ringing. And the drinking problem I had is finished too. After your bill arrived, I couldn't afford any more grog. So please help me again, tell me what to do. I mustn't go now and pretend there's nothing wrong. After all, I know the clients and staff are talking together about how they can make things worse for me. Well, they won't succeed, I can tell you. After I posted this letter to you, I asked one of the juniors to post it, but she said she wasn't hired to post letters. I'm going to lock myself in the staff room and wait for you to come and get me. Or for that nice gentleman you sent here last time. Come soon, please. Knock twice, tap once, then knock twice again. Your friendly patient, the Salon owner. Well, the psychiatrist did fix things and the owner was collected. And these days he is feeling much better, and from the quiet of his small rubber room, he sent to us an interesting letter. "Dear Salon owner colleagues, how dumb can you be is what I'm thinking, and I'm referring of course to me. Well, I'm not fumbling in the darkness now, the lights are on and I can see. So positively speaking, I can now accept that when the situation should improve, I must go ahead and lead the battle, or no one else will move. The clients, for instance, must be enlightened and motivated in every way we can possibly arrange, through consultation and merchandising, promotion and ads to influence clients to change. And I must find out what our sales are now so improvement goals can be set, with the stylists informed of their sales and targets, so my expectations have a chance to be met. I'll work with staff to make sure they are learning how to treat their clients well, and Hair Energy will help me wherever they can, for they are a company that do more than just sell. My staff will be encouraged to do their best with clients and rewarded or recognised when they do, to positively reinforce their successful work, so they'll give good service to more than a few. And in future, the guiding light in my business will be what I had when I started but neglected, to concentrate our energies on clients' needs and ensure they receive more than they expected. Then delivering staff and making profits will be my management task, and don't laugh. But with future problems, I'll change and improve, long before my clients and staff. The owner's lament is now over. He is on the right track, to be sure. So when it's time to end blame in your life, always start at your own back door. If you will change and get better, all situations must improve, which is better than crossing your fingers hoping that maybe others will make a move. So the moral is simple. Staff and clients start out the same. And if yours are not developing, then look first to yourself with blame. This doesn't mean to find fault with yourself, but rather to invite change and growth. So the saying, "It's amazing how staff and clients have changed since I changed," should become your personal oath.